What's going on, y'all? It's willarmani. Today I want to talk about why you don't need to blow up overnight. Now, this is a concept that I've always thought about, and it's something that I've always wanted to make a video about, and I guess here I am making the video. You don't need to blow up overnight. And I know what you're thinking, and I know what you might be thinking. You just want to see success for what you're working on. You just want to see results from what you're doing. And I know for myself, me constantly trying to make videos, me constantly trying to make content, and me constantly trying to improve myself when it comes to the music, when it comes to recording songs. I mean, I record a song almost every day. At one point it was every day, and since January I have almost 100 unreleased songs. Like, I'm constantly working, I'm constantly moving. I know how it feels to be in the rat race, and I know how difficult it is when you're pushing so hard towards something but you don't see the results that you want to see, and you just wish that you can blow up overnight. Not blowing up overnight might be frustrating, but it's also a blessing in disguise. And let me explain. When you blow up right away, and we've seen so many artists blow up right away, and I think I've talked about it a few times on this channel, but a lot of the times artists who go viral, just because they blow up and they go viral and they have all these numbers right now and it's the one thing that you're looking at, does not mean that these artists are going to last. It doesn't mean that these artists are going to have lasting careers, and it doesn't mean that these artists are here to stay. When you try to blow up so quickly, it's not that you can't get success from that, but you have to know that that's a different goal than what most people want. Because a lot of the times, people like us who are artists and we're grinding and we're working, when we want to blow up so quickly, really, we don't just want a one-hit wonder. We want people to see us for what we are, which is hardworking artists who are talented, who are making music, who are building catalogs, and you want to be here to stay. But if your goal is to go viral and to blow up overnight, you have to realize that that is a different goal from being here to stay. Because you could go up and you can go viral and you could follow the trends and you could do all these things on TikTok and do all these different things and blow up overnight. Nobody's stopping you from doing that. But realize that when you go that route, you won't be here to stay. Very, very, very rarely will you be here to stay. And unless you are trying to, and here's the thing, right? You try to do both. If you try to do both, it's like you can't have your cake and eat it too. It's like, you can't do both all the time. And it's a very, very rare case. And in my opinion, it's good to focus on one thing. Do you want to blow up over a trend and, try to capitalize on that, make as much money as you can, and then that's it, that's your career? Or do you want a long-term, long-lasting career? If you want a long-term, long-lasting career in music, it's gonna take time. Why is it gonna take time? Because you're not following trends, you're not trying to go viral, and you're not trying to be this instant success, which means that you need to build yourself. You need to build your catalog. You need to make sure that every single time that you make a song, not that you're getting better, but that you're not getting worse, and that you're constantly trying to find new ways to bring new melodies or improve in what you're already doing. You're trying to build your brand, and you're trying to make sure that when you do get that recognition, it's not just because, oh, you have a cool song. It's because you have a cool song, but you're putting people into your world and to your ecosystem as soon as you get looked at. I always like to think of, or at least I just thought of, like Apple, for example. A lot of people are so tied to their iPhone. A lot of people would rather get an iPhone than an Android phone. And there was a point where I went from an iPhone to an Android phone and back to an iPhone. Really, it's because Apple has a way of putting you into their world and putting you into their ecosystem. Now, an Android phone, objectively, is kind of better than an iPhone in a lot of ways. The cameras are usually nicer, even if they don't show on social media. There's a lot of things that are better. But the reason that people all stick with iPhones is because, okay, so I have an iPhone. If I get a FaceTime call on my iPhone, I can answer it on my MacBook, and then maybe I just want to switch it to my iPhone. I could hit switch and I could do that. You see, Apple puts you in their ecosystem. They put you in their world, and once you're in it, you don't want to go to get an Android. You don't want to go to get a PC. They have you so sucked into this system, so sucked into this thing. Now, if you're an artist who blows up overnight and you have this one viral song, but you don't have anything else that makes people feel connected to a world, they're just gonna listen to that song. Maybe they'll enjoy that song, but they're not gonna be here to stay. Whereas if you make a song, but then you make songs that surround it, and you make almost like a community within yourself, and you also have a brand image that kind of floods throughout and is very seamless with everything you're doing when it comes to the content, when it comes to the music. When you're doing that, you're putting people into an ecosystem. You're putting people into a world that they can relate to, that they can connect to, that they can say like, okay, I'm really going to become invested in this artist. I'm going to become a fan. Not to say that people who blow up overnight can't do that, but what I'm really trying to say in this video is blowing up overnight doesn't need to happen. I know that's like a harsh truth, and that even myself, for a long time, I didn't want to hear that, because realistically, when you're working so hard and you're working hard every day towards the goal, it gets harder and harder to have belief in yourself that it's going to be possible, especially if you're not doing it like other people, and especially if other people around you, even your family members or your closest friends, don't believe that that dream is true. It doesn't mean that it's not possible. It just means that when you're taking the route of trying to do it differently, when you're taking the route of not following the trends, when you're taking the route of doing your own thing, it's going to be harder. It's going to be more difficult. I know for myself, I'm not making music that is like anything that's out right now. And some people might compare my music to music of the 2016 to 2019 era. Some people might say that my music is dated. Some people might say that what I'm doing isn't working. What I know is it's working, but it's building slowly. And sometimes the slow build is better than the fast come up, because the slow build is real. You know, it's almost like when people say like it's better to marinate something. You know what I'm saying? Like if we're gonna talk about food or some shit like that. When you marinate chicken, it's gonna taste better than if you were to just cook it right away. Even if you season the cooked chicken right away, it's gonna be different if you marinate it, because you let something sit. And when you let something sit, you're letting everything go into it. You're letting everything evolve into its flavor, so, which makes it more complex. It makes it deeper. Think about that when it comes to blowing up and doing your own thing. You might not blow up right away, but what I could say for myself is I might not be this huge success right now, but all this time that I have and all this time that you have allows us to develop our voices, develop our confidence, develop all those different things. I used to be somebody who thought I need to dress in designer and do all these different things because that's what I see other artists do who get blown up. And then I realized who I am and my voice and my authenticity, and that's just how I've drove my brand, is what actually gets people to attach to me more than what they're seeing. Because if a person can't connect to you, they're not going to be able to connect to the music all the time. I mean, sometimes there's rare case scenarios where the music is just a separate persona from the artist, but a lot of the times that's only works with really major artists. So do your own thing, be authentic, and don't be scared or afraid that things aren't working and blowing up right away. Because all I could say is when you don't blow up right away, it's really a blessing in disguise, because you can take every single day as an opportunity to look at what you can and can't do. You could take every opportunity to look at, oh, okay, well, you know what? Maybe I could release a song like this, or maybe I can go in this direction. And every time you switch directions, and every time you haven't blown up yet and you switch directions or you pivot this way, all it's doing is allowing you to see what works and what doesn't. All it's doing is allowing you to build your confidence. It allows you to build your brand, because at the end of the day, if you don't have a brand within your artistry, nothing's gonna work. Everything has to be seamless within each other. And again, some people might disagree and say that, well, artists have blown up who don't have that, but I would highly disagree and say that yes, artists have blown up who don't have this major brands, but the ones who last long have something that as soon as you look at them, you know what you're seeing, you know what you're getting into, and you fall in love with it. I hope this video helps somebody out there. I like to just have these rambles and talks sometimes, and I don't know who's gonna watch this, but again, like, why am I gonna care? I'm putting out something that I feel like is gonna help somebody. That's my goal. If you're new here and you wanna hear more conversations like this, you could follow me, or you could subscribe, and you can follow me on Instagram, willarmani with 2 eyes, if you want to check out any of my own music. Also, every Thursday I post rap opinion videos, my opinions on things that are going on in rap, so if you're interested in that, make sure to subscribe as well. It's been your boy willarmani. Please stay positive.